They came in a survey skiff, 3 of them, and landed in the south field without asking. I'd been told to expect them. The Vethaal Cooperative had been running what they called a civilian infrastructure review across the northern ag belt for 6 weeks, classifying farmsteads, logging resources, deciding which human settlements rated a formal threat designation and which got stamped LOW priority and left alone. My county extension officer, a tired woman named Berta Schutz, had sent a form letter. She'd written, "Be courteous" in the margin by hand, and then crossed it out, which I thought was honest of her. I was on the porch with my coffee when they landed. Pip was already watching the south field. She'd been watching it for maybe 4 minutes before the skiff appeared over the tree line. She does that. Fixes on something I can't see yet. Holds the position, doesn't make a sound. Just watches. I'd stopped questioning it years ago. Pip had a better sense of what was coming than I did, and she never wasted energy worrying about it. She didn't pace, didn't whine, just tracked the thing the way she tracked everything, with the particular stillness of an animal that has decided it already knows the answer and is only waiting for the question to arrive. I drank my coffee. The skiff settled into the alfalfa. 3 figures came down the ramp. The lead assessor was Desiravan class, which meant he was senior and he knew it. Tall, the way they all are, with that flat gray plating across the shoulders that their specialists wear. He had 2 juniors with him, smaller, violet-scaled, carrying instrument rigs that looked like they'd been designed to look impressive, and probably were. They crossed the fence line without acknowledging it and came up the slope toward the porch, in the particular way Vethaal. Assessors move, proprietary, unhurried, with the low-grade confidence of people who have never had a reason to wonder whether the thing they're approaching is more dangerous than it looks. Pip didn't stand up. She didn't growl. She turned her head and looked at them. The lead assessor stopped about 12 feet from the porch steps. "Reuben Cass," he said. Not a question. "That's right. Cooperative Survey Team 7. We have authorization to conduct a full property assessment under the Civilian Cohabitation Accord, Article 9. He said this the way people say things they've said 400 times. "This will take approximately 40 minutes. Your cooperation is noted and appreciated. Coffee's hot if you want some." He didn't answer that. He gestured to the 2 juniors, and they split off. One toward the equipment barn, one toward the grain silos. Instruments up, already logging. He himself came to the base of the porch steps and looked at his own device. 1 occupant. Correct? Me and Pip. He looked at Pip. Pip looked at him. "The animal," he said. "Border Collie. 7 years old. She's not going to bother you." He raised the instrument and scanned her. Made a note. I watched him type something. Domestic comfort fauna non-threat was a phrase I'd heard Berta use for this category. And then he moved to the porch railing and began scanning the property lines. The 2 juniors worked efficiently. I'll give them that. The one assigned to the equipment barn was through it in 9 minutes and logged everything. The old combine, the irrigation pump, the 2 fuel tanks, a pair of broken cultivators I'd been meaning to deal with since the spring before last, the acetylene rig hanging on the wall that probably should have been flagged but wasn't. The other one went through the grain silos in the same methodical way, scanning moisture levels, logging the storage volume, photographing the auger housing. Professional work, clean. The barn junior came back around the corner and stopped to photograph Pip from a different angle than the lead assessor had. He logged the second image with the same label as the first. Domestic comfort fauna, non-threat. He was thorough about it. He did it right. Pip watched him take the photograph. She didn't move. The lead assessor came around the side of the house, finished with the property perimeter, and stopped at the foot of the steps again. He looked at his instrument screen for what felt like a long time. The screen had been cycling through readouts since he started, and I couldn't read any of them. But I could read his face, or what passed for a face on a Desiravan class assessor, and something in it had gone quiet. "Mr. Cass," he said, "how long have you had the animal?" 7 years. Got her as a pup from a working stock breeder, 2 counties over. Working animal? She was. Ran sheep on this property until the sheep operation wound down. 4 years ago. Coming up on 5. Now she keeps me company. Does the fence line in the morning. Comes in at night. He looked at the screen again. Then he looked at Pip. Pip had shifted while he was around the side of the house. She wasn't facing the south field anymore. She was facing him. Front paws extended on the porch boards, head low, Weight settled back on her haunches. Not tense. Not anything that read as tension. She was watching him with those pale yellow eyes, the way a border collie watches the thing it has decided to pay attention to, which is a thing that looks like patience and is not patience. Pip had been herding since she was 8 months old. The look she gave livestock at the edge of a field, the look that told them, without a sound, that the matter had already been decided and they were only running the clock. That was the look she was giving the lead assessor of Cooperative Survey Team 7. He held her gaze for 3 seconds. Then he said something under his breath, not in a language I recognized, not loud enough for the juniors to hear. The junior coming from the grain silos stopped about 30 feet out. He'd caught the edge of it. He raised his scanner in Pip's direction and held it there for a moment and then lowered it. He looked at the lead. The lead said 2 syllables to him, clipped, flat. The junior put the instrument rig in its case without another word. "We're concluding the assessment," the lead said to me. His voice was exactly what it had been. Not shaken, not hurried, just done. But he wasn't looking at me when he said it. "You're not finished," I said. "You haven't been in the house. The assessment is sufficient for the current purpose." I drank my coffee. The barn junior came around the corner already packing his rig, buckles clicking. Nobody had signaled him. He'd just read it. That impressed me, actually. The kid had good instincts. Maybe the best thing I could say about the cooperative was that it hired people who knew when to stop asking questions. The lead took one more look at Pip, a long one. The kind of look you give something when you're checking whether your memory of it matches what you actually seeing. Pip looked back at him, level, unhurried, already done with the analysis. He turned and walked down the slope. His team fell in behind him. They crossed the fence line and crossed the field and went up the ramp in the same order they'd come down it. And the skiff lifted without the usual pre-departure clearance tone. Just lifted. Quietly. Like they'd decided not to announce themselves leaving any more than strictly necessary. Berta Schutz called that afternoon. The survey had been logged as incomplete. Status suspended pending administrative review. She read me the code, which meant nothing to me. And then there was a pause on the line long enough that I thought the connection had dropped. "Reuben," she said, "what happened out there?" "Nothing," I said. Team came, looked around, left a little early. "Did they interact with your dog?" She was on the porch. Hard to avoid. Another pause. "All right," she said, in the tone of a woman who has done this job long enough to know which questions to stop asking. She hung up. I went back to the porch. The south field was empty. The alfalfa where the skiff had settled was already standing back up, slow and even, the way alfalfa does. Pip had her head on her paws. I finished my coffee. The county designation came through 6 days later. Low priority. Stamped and filed, no further assessment requested. The cover note cited logistical efficiency and reallocation of survey resources. I keep a copy of it on the refrigerator, mostly because it makes me laugh on the mornings when not much else does. Pip has no opinion about paperwork. She's in the field when I look up from it, walking the perimeter the way she's walked it every morning for 7 years. Steady, unhurried, checking the edges of everything she considers hers. Some animals are born knowing what they're for. The ones who notice, notice. The rest file the paperwork and go home.